Hurmatli va janoblar, musobaqa boshlanishiga 10 daqiqa qoldi.
Well, a very good morning and welcome back to Tashkent and the third and final day of the Tashkent Grand Prix, and it's a very warm welcome to former world champion Loretta Cusack-Doyle. Good morning, Loretta.
Good morning, Sheldon. Third day, are we going to get some excitement? Well, yesterday was a little bit hard. There was some real tough matches, but today I'm hoping to see a few big throws going on with the big heavyweights.
Okay, well, we'll start by taking a look at the top 4 seeds in the 5 weight categories that we've got to bring to you today. We'll start with the women in the in the under 78 kilo category, and the number 1 seed is Anastasia Turchin of Ukraine. The number 2 seed is Anna Maria Wagner of Germany. The number 3 seed is Beata Pakut of Poland, and the number 4 seed is Luisa Malzahn of Germany. One of those 4, or one from the outside?
Well, I think Turchin's obviously, she's a strong contender there for the number 1 spot, and I can't see really anybody knocking her off that number 1 position. So really for me, I'm going to stick with that, but we've also got one just on the outskirts there, Bernadette Graf from Austria. Now, she's had an impressive track record in the past. I haven't seen her for a wee while, but for me, someone that when she takes the silver in the World Masters in 2016, she's got something. So someone to keep an eye out on.
Okay, yesterday we saw Bernadette's colleague in the under 70 kilo category take the gold medal here, Michaela Polares, and since that win at the Masters, or since that medal at the Masters, Bernadette has moved up to under 78. So, so just kind of finding her feet at the moment.
Yeah, I think so. And but I think she's someone that's obviously definitely got the potential to do really well here today. It's going to take a sort of a settling process, but with the group of athletes we've got participating, it's not one of the strongest events here this weekend, so she's got a real chance of getting on that podium.
Good place to be then.
Definitely, for a good start.
Okay, let's keep an eye then on Bernadette Graf. I agree entirely with Loretta on that one. Bernadette Graf is one to look at. Let's take a look at the top 4 seeds then in the plus 78 kilo category. The number 1 seed is Marina Slutskaya of Belarus. The number 2 seed is Irina Kinzerska of Azerbaijan. Number 3 seed is Yelisaveta Kalanina of the Ukraine. And the number 4 seed is Caroline Weiss of Germany. One of those 4 or outside of that group?
Slutskaya is really on form, isn't she? She's performed extremely well in Abu Dhabi, a great performance from her. And there's 15 athletes. It's not a big weight category, that's one thing. There is obviously a couple of players like Sarah Adlington of Great Britain, who was 5th in the World Championships. But I've picked out a few of the younger ones that really are coming out here with nothing to lose and everything to gain. A lot of experience and exposure at an event that's really not its strongest, so they've got a good chance. And those ones is Hershok of Israel, who's cadet European champion back in 2015, and down Ukbulut of Turkey, gold medalist, junior European silver medalist.
Yeah, 2 youngsters.
2 very young girls, definitely hungry, waiting to go out there and show what they're capable of doing, and I think they could upset 1 or 2 people, so we've got to keep an eye on them. And I'm sure the more experienced ones like Slutskaya and that will not take full advantage of that. They will be very cautious and what's up against them.
Yeah, and I think the thing to be looking at here is consistency in this weight category. We haven't had a super heavyweight, as I like to call them, with the consistency to say that they own the weight category. So it could be interesting to see whether somebody like Slutskaya says, okay, I'm going to set out my stall and I'm going to win back-to-back events.
I think she's capable of doing it at this moment. When we looked at her last performance, there was no one really touching her at all. So she's in a very good position, not only physically but mentally as well. So it's just really having that continuous development through towards the Olympic Games. And what's more important is, although there's only 15 athletes, there's crucial Olympic qualification points, which is really important when it comes to the seeding of the Olympic Games or in World Championships next year.
Okay, let's take a look at the top 4 seeds in the under 90 kilo category. The number 1 seed is Tot Christian of Hungary. The number 2 seed is the former world champion Nemanja Majdov of Serbia. The number 3 seed is Mamadli Mediev of Azerbaijan. And the number 4 seed is Islan Bozboyev of Kazakhstan.
This is a really interesting way, and it's an exciting one to look forward to. And we've got Triple, who's in seeded number 6, and he's a youngster, 21 years of age, and junior world bronze medalist. He's a great athlete. He's had some really good performances here this year, and I'm really excited to see how he's going to perform. Again, another German. We keep talking about the German team. They've got some young athletes that's come through, and they're really hitting some top spots.
It's Edward Triple of Germany.
And there we have Deserve of France. Again, he's a young athlete that's coming through. He got 5th in the Junior World Championships. He's also gold medalist in the Junior Europeans last year, and he was also part of the Baku mixed team event in the World Championships, and he was part of the French team for that event. So they obviously rate him as not only as a team player, but definitely someone that's got potential that they keep putting out there and just feeding a little bit of confidence and experience for the future, really. But definitely one to watch. On the other hand of experience, we've got the 30-year-old Russian Orobev, and for him, a gold medal in The Hague last year. Hasn't been on the scene very much, but he's one like a couple of the Russians that we've seen already. They've thrown him in. We haven't seen so much of them, but they're always dangerous athletes that come out here with the potential of winning medals. So another one to keep an eye out for.
Okay, Ivan Vorobev, Aurelien Dizer and Edward Triple. Keep an eye out for that treble there. In the under 100 kilo category, the number 1 seed, Elmar Gazimov of Azerbaijan. The number 2 seed is Ramadan Darwish of Egypt. The number 3 seed is Karl Richard Frey of Germany. And the number 4 seed is Joachim Dvaby of Sweden.
Well, the German Frey, for me, he's been quite entertaining. I've watched him progress throughout the year, and he's building on his confidence. Someone to keep an eye. I think he's going to be good today. He's progressed every event we've seen him. He just seems to get better. But there is one or two of really strong, experienced athletes, and again, we're going back to the Russians. And we've got Medov, who was under 23 European silver medalist back in 2011. Again, a strong athlete. And Margiev, who's 28 years of age, another more experienced athlete. And in Tbilisi, he got the silver and a 5th place in Budapest. So someone who's always around the medals, again, coming from a very strong nation of judo. And these athletes, when they're sort of 3rd in their own country, like 13th, 14th position in their own country, they come out here and you always think, well, they're that low down on the sort of picking list, as you'd say, for Russia. But they come out and they give a good performance, and they are very, very dangerous athletes to watch.
Okay, the last of the weight categories then, the plus 100 kilo category. The number 1 seed is Luri Krakovetsky of Kyrgyzstan. The number 2 seed is Bekmurud Oltaboyev of Uzbekistan. Number 3 seed is Daniel Alastorfer of Austria. And the number 4 seed is Vladislav Tsidopitsky of Belarus.
You've picked you've already mentioned some strong athletes, and it's going to be very difficult to maybe upset one or two, but we have seen some number 1 seeds go out this weekend, so there's a real possibility. But there's one athlete, again, it seems like I'm repeating myself, the Russians, and we've got Bozdanov, and who got a gold medal bronze medal, last year in The Hague. So for me, he's capable of taking results like that. He can be quite dangerous. He is a Russian athlete, and we know how strong and capable they are. Someone to keep an eye out for. He's not in the top 8 seed, so he's someone that could upset a couple of the favourites.
Okay, let's go down to mat number 1. The opening contest there features Ivan Vorobev of Russia. He's up against Theodoros Tselidis of Greece. It'll be Vorobev in the white judo gi, Tselidis in blue.
Right, someone we were talking about, Vorobev of Russia in the white now, as a favourite of mine that I've highlighted with the potential of upsetting the top seeds here in the under 90 kilo category.
Just as well we've got him on the map from the get-go then.
Yes. He's up against the Greek Tselidis in the blue. And already, just in the first minute, both have picked up a Shiro apiece. Well, it's not a big surprise, really. Both the athletes, they have a warm-up, and we know that it's quite a strenuous warm-up, but it never really takes the place of how you've come out in the field of play in the contest area and start battling away against that opponent that you've been building up and preparing for. A little bit apprehensive, both athletes. They come out a little bit cagey there and taking their time rather than rushing it. And this is really important. Vorobev, high collar grip, very strong in the gripping styles, draws his opponent down into the niwaza. A little bit of slow reaction there as he approached the niwaza. This is the largest weight category of the day. We have 29 athletes participating. Well, no score as yet. 1 minute 43 seconds remaining in the contest. It has been quite a slow start for both these athletes. Vorobev, very strong left-hand gripper on the right side of his opponent. Quickly, now he takes that sleeve. Controls there with the hand over the high collar, steps across in a very slow fashion for the Uchimata, but definitely a convincing ippon, which takes him into the second round of the under 90 kilos. And there you have it. You could time it nicely, hopped through. And a great execution of the Uchimata. And sadly for Tselidis, out of the tournament in the first round. Desir, Aurelien, of France. Again, one of the athletes we'd highlighted in our opening. This young athlete coming through, and my goodness me, what a bounce he has. Thought he was going to take off there. Safguliev is up against the Azerbaijan, who'll want to take things a little bit quieter. But Desir, very feisty athlete, fought extremely well in the World Championships. Was part of the World Mixed Team Championships, where France took the silver medal. Definitely an athlete to watch for the future coming out of France. Quite an exciting athlete to try and keep up with. Makes you quite exhausted just watching him. He's a full-on athlete that has got bags of energy and enthusiasm. Safguliev trying to calm down the situation. Not doing a good job at this particular moment. Swung around there, drawn to the ground, and the Frenchman straight on the pounce in the Niwaza. Well, Desir really has to be careful engaging with the very strong style of gripping against Azerbaijan. He'll be quite comfortable of slowing this pace down. Aurélien Desir is very dangerous when he starts to move. Those long limbs that can come in from any direction makes him very dangerous indeed. And Safguliev knows that, so for him, tactically, slowing the pace down considerably would be in his full advantage. Well, 2 Shidos apiece now, still 1 minute and 40 seconds remaining in the contest. No scorers yet, but both in their own way looking quite dangerous. Safguliev, if he stays still, the power of the man can generate some beautiful judo from that. But what's so exciting, Desir can come in and be very dynamic and explosive. That speed and very sharp reactions with the ability to throw, but he gets caught with the Ouchigari there. Manages to escape off that throw, just about, but he left himself a little bit vulnerable there. Now, 2 Shidos apiece, they really both have to be careful not to make any silly errors in this point. And you always sort of have that sense of a younger athlete still on the road of experience, having more of a risk of just doing that, making those mistakes. He comes up with a high collar grip, he draws the head down, those long limbs are ready to pounce in. But Desir, very strong but fit athlete. Lots of life in this man. Kosota, oh, the foot was in there. It had a little bit of a stumble there from Safguliev. Well, most important that there is a lot of action from both athletes, but the Frenchman just looks that little bit more busier, whether it is as risky, I don't know, but or as threatening. There's not as much power generated through the attacks of the Frenchman, unlike the Azerbaijan, who's got that hip in, and again that power arm round the back. Well, Safguliev, I'm quite sure, is thinking to himself, this was one contest I really could have done without in the first round. Now we're going to golden score. First grip on there. Well, the power is starting to go from Desir, and that drop under his opponent wasn't as convincing, lost a little bit of control in the upper body. Deep enough with the hips, just didn't have the Kazushi. Cross grip this time, those long limbs coming every time first as he draws in for Sianagi upon Sianagi. There was an attempt of a counter there from Safguliev, but played a waiting game, and good reactions from the Frenchman. Circling motion. Well, the Frenchman looking quite tired there. The response there is telling the story now on how he's really feeling. That physical maturity that he's up against is starting to wear him down. Ah, yes! Oh, what a throw! Well, that took some height, no doubt about it. A big Oguruma, beautifully done. High collar grip, and what a throw. And that's what's so exciting about this young athlete from France, Aurélien Desir. Bringing a little bit of excitement here today in this stadium, but no score. How does that happen? But definitely a bit of a wake-up call for Safguliev. Sianagi. And then another bit of a waiting game, and the Azerbaijan has to be first now. He has to put one or two attacks in. There's been 3 attacks, 2 maybe not as strong, very weak ones, but goodness me, that big Harai Oguruma attempt was beautiful. Uchimata. Oh, Sasai, beautifully done, and he's got to have a score there. Well, the Frenchman's probably thinking to himself, unless it was a mate, we couldn't see. 2 very strong attacks, 2 slight mediocre attempts there of the Sianagi. Safguliev still waiting to put one in. He's trying to wait for the counter. He's trying to see if his opponent will burn himself out. Frenchman, oh, dragging his knuckles on the ground at the moment. He's so tired. As he comes in for a Sianagi, those big legs once more, comes through, causing the problem. Yes, Kosota has got to be a score, and a Wazari given. What a nice finish to what was a very exciting first round match. Now, if we saw something like that in the final, we'll be absolutely delighted. Aurélien Desir goes through to the next round, defeating Safguliev. And he'll be up against the winner of the next match coming up soon. Oh, what? Oh, just lost the control on that big throw. Oh, definitely a nice technique, but just the latter stage. But there's the Kosota, well controlled, planted nicely. Now representing Turkmenistan, Tijinov in the white, Imamov of Uzbekistan. Well, the Uzbeks had a great day yesterday, picking up a gold medal to the delight of this home crowd, in my opinion, has been so supportive, not only of this event and the athletes all participating, but what a percentage that it gives to the Uzbekistan athletes. Really, Tayatoshi, beautifully executed. Scoring a Wazari. Imamov now takes the lead in the first 30 seconds of this contest. A great start against the Turkmen. Tijinov goes now into the ground, tries to look for an opening there, but is still on the bit of the receiving end. The back foot here at the moment in this contest hasn't really got himself started and motivated, even though there was a Wazari against him now. You would expect a bit more of a sharper and more engaging reaction coming from the Turkmen. Imamov controlling there with the right hand on the left shoulder, using the Ashiwaza, stumbles his opponent down. Turkmen picks up first Shido now, just under the 3 minutes remaining in the contest. Not an ideal situation to start accumulating the Shidos. Puts an athlete under extreme pressure. And they end up playing a bit of a chasing game to stay engaged in the contest. So one Shido and one Wazari down. And now the second Shido has been awarded, but for both athletes. Imamov really in a good position, so one's really not going to affect him right now. But oh, what a throw! Tijinov there comes out of the blue, steps across where we were really writing him off there. Steps in with the Osota, takes it off to the side, beautifully executed and scoring Ippon. The perfected technique. Well, already there's been so many exciting matches in the earlier stages of this competition. The big throws are coming from the big men, no doubt about it. The impact that is made in this stadium has just lit up the room. But what a finish there. It looked like he was going for a big hare. He hooked around off the edge, stepped in, taking it off to the side, down towards the weakest point, and against very little resistance. We'll go across to the women's under 78s, and that's match number 3. We have the number 1 seed coming on. Anastasia Churchin of Ukraine in the white. Sampaio of Portugal who again is another young athlete coming through for Portugal. Definitely has got the potential to do well here in this competition. Last year, Sampaio Junior World Bronze Medalist. And also back in 2016, Cadet European Silver Medalist. Definitely hitting some nice targets for a youngster that's coming through. Seeking a little bit of medical attention now, but an unlucky situation. This young lady is meeting up with Churchin, the #1 seed. Strong contender for the top place on the podium. Sampaio defeated the Uzbekistan Anarova in the first round. There, Makikomi straight in, quick to react from what looked to be the Uchimata attempt from Churchin. Deep there with the Sianagi. Just really lost a little bit of control in the sleeve grips. But looking very positive out there, this young lady from Portugal. A lot of physical maturity in her judo. The Kosoda catches Churchin as if she was a novice there. She comes round the back now, follows it through into the Niwaza. Some nice display of judo here. What a gutsy performance here from Patricia. Takes the lead in the halfway mark with the Wazari. Again, another Kosota, almost close to scoring that second Wazari. Churchin really doesn't know what's hit her with this young lady. Finding it very difficult. Needs a little bit of time to compose herself and then walks again onto the Sianagi. Churchin goes into the Niwaza. Well, the referee's got a good sighting there, so the possibility that there's something happening. Churchin coming in with the Ouchi, then a forward attack. But she looks to be in a little bit of trouble there. Slightly uncomfortable, whether it's cramp or something, I'm not quite sure. As she limps back to the center, possibly cramp. Big high collar grip, steps across into the Uchimata. But once again, Churchin troubled by that foot. She limps in. Again, steps across the Uchimata, arm right over deep onto the back, and straight away, Portuguese back in there, really turning over. Oh, what a nice turnover. And she's got the head controlled very nicely as she draws that leg out. In a very good position at the moment, but Churchin very strong in the Niwaza. Obviously had a vice lock on that leg. Churchin once more the left hand over the back, controlling the right side. Sampaio comes in with Uchimata. Once more, another good, strong attack from the Portuguese, who comes into the last 21 seconds. Now, no Shiros, and except for just now, spoke a little bit too early, but with 20 seconds to go, will it make much of a difference for her to work and defend tactically? But as a youngster, does she have those skills at this moment? Well, there she has. Let's answer the question. She takes her into the Niwaza with 4 seconds remaining. Churchin looks defeated there at this particular moment, not in a happy place, as you can see, as she limps back to the center and very troubled by that foot. But it doesn't stop her from trying. But Churchin, the #1 seed, goes out to the Portuguese. Sampaio. And there's some highlights. That Koso Dagak, beautifully done. Right down, draws, very powerful indeed. And a very impressive win from the young lady.
Sampaio putting out the #1 seed.
Very strong young lady.
And she looked, you know, really competent doing that.
She made that look so easy, didn't she? She looked a real contender and a world-class athlete up against Churchin, who was, like we said right at the beginning, I didn't see anybody really touching her. That one just slipped under the radar there. But looking at her form, this young lady from Portugal, junior world medalist and cadet European silver medalist, like in 2017 and 16, so has hit some real strong targets as a cadet and junior, so definitely the potential for to come through as a good light heavyweight.
Yeah, you're quite right about, you know, the way that she looked during that contest. She didn't look as though she was up against the #1 seed.
No, no. They weren't miles apart.
Loriana Kuka has just won her opening contest on mat #3. That's a round 2 contest. The young Kosovan, maybe there will be a 3rd gold medal for them.
Well, she's got to get past the Portuguese girl. And for me,
well,
that's
you know,
been an impressive match. That one has been a turning point for me.
This is a good position for Loriana to be in. She's really got strong throwing skills. Right, let's have a look then at the next contest on mat #3. Luisa Malzahn of Germany faces Linda Politi of Italy. It's Malzahn in the white judogi, Politi in blue.
Well, this is going to be a tough match, definitely. Linda Politi, very aggressive competitor. Feisty athlete that comes out here firing on all cylinders, good strong gripping skills. Powerhouse. Malzahn steps over across there, trying to get those long limbs across. Doesn't make too much of an impact on that first attack there, but tries to clamber on the back there for the Niwaza.
On paper, this is a mismatch, with Malzahn being so much stronger on paper.
On paper.
Yeah, the difficulty for Louis is she just hasn't had, you know, the kind of results recently that match up to her previous record.
And you were saying that you sort of felt, looking at her performance just recently, that there was a little bit of a lack of confidence in her own ability. She was looking a little bit low.
So unfortunately inconsistent over this, last year or so. Not sure whether it's got, to do with pressure that comes from having someone breathing down your neck, or a couple of people in your weight category in your own country, including, of course,
Wagner,
yeah, she's around and about, isn't she?
Well, she comes into this competition as the number 2 seed, so she sort of highlights a stronger placing in the tournament. Not sure if that makes much of a difference, but as you see with Churchill, who's going out as the number 1 seed in the first round.
5th place at the Olympic Games in Rio. Since then,
she was good then
exactly.
as well. She was really strong that year.
Then she hasn't hit the top of the podium once in anything since then. So tricky time for the talented German.
Well, she came in for a very strong Ouchi-gari there. Just had her head caught up there. Couldn't really drive down towards the rear, but high over the back grip with the Osotogari. Follows it through down in the Niwaza. Oh, Politi picks up a second Shido, but she still powers her way through this contest. For her, she came in for a battle, and this is exactly what she's got. But she was prepared for it. She knew she was up against a strong opponent. Malzen, on paper, we said, statistically, should be the athlete that goes through to the next round. But for the German, her form's just not sharp enough at this moment, so she's not looking a normal sparky self as we've come to enjoy over the years. High collar grip from the Italian on the left side there, as you can see, but Malzen comes in with that grip just under the arm, draws her onto her hips, scoring Ippon.
Now that's the Louisa Maltzahn that we've seen before. There was power, confidence. She got herself in a really good position. Politi wasn't getting off that.
No, and one ingredient there, she had her head free. She had her head free to be upright, strong from the core, to get that leg across and power onto the hip. It was a nice technique, and it was well timed on the edge of the contest area. And that will obviously, hopefully, give her a bit of confidence going in for the rest of the day now. To start off the day in that form is a great start.
The really good thing for Louis here is the draw. It's Anastasia Dmitrieva of Russia, or Shurin Chimeg Semidyag. That's the pair on the mat now. Neither of these are going to scare you. You're not going to look at the draw and think, oh my God, what will happen if I lose here? She should really be looking positively at this upcoming contest, because she's already into the quarterfinal with that one win. This is a round 2 contest, as I say here now, between Anastasia Dmitrieva of Russia. She's up against Shurinchimeg Semidyag of Mongolia. Dmitrieva in the white judogi, Shurinchimeg in blue.
And yeah, this is for a place
in the quarterfinal against Louisa Maltzahn.
Just seems so quick. We're looking for the previous day.
Well, a first round bye.
Yeah.
This is the second round, and now into the quarterfinal. Just see Anastasia Turchin limping back to her spot. She's picked up a leg injury.
Yeah, she has. She picked it up at the earlier stages of that first match, but it wasn't the result of. It wasn't what she lost with. She sustained it after the throw, so that she was already a Wazari down, and on that exchange, she came up limping, and it was becoming
left foot.
It was worsened as the progression of the contest.
No score in this one yet. Dmitrieva has picked up a single Shido, another fighter from that Russian stable who you just would have expected a little bit more of by now, you know.
You tend to find with the Russian ladies, the bigger they tend to be a little bit slower in the development. That hardening process just takes that little bit
with the
longer.
heavyweights.
With the heavyweights.
Absolutely. With the heavyweights. The lightweights, bang, straight in there.
Straight in. And they're hard little characters.
Yeah.
But that hardness tends to take time to nurture the heavyweights.
From 48, 52, 57, no problems. They develop them really, really quickly.
Well, it's 2 Shidos to 1 at the moment. We've gone past the halfway mark. Chiron Chimeg picking up the second Shido now, 2 apiece. Dmitrieva throws that right hand over onto the left side of her opponent, trying to control that shoulder. I think she's doing a really good job at the moment with it. She's leaving a little bit too much of a flexibility for her to step across for the Osota, possibly even exchange into the Makakomi. So it's still a little bit too loose for Dmitrieva to get much success at the high. But this is a little bit deeper, and the Ouchigari was there this time. But once more, she controlled and worked that right hand on the left shoulder a little bit more. She might have had much more success on the outcome of the Ouchigari. Osota into the Makon Uchimata exchange, rolling in to a continuous move to work down into the Niwaza. And we're now into the last minute. 47 seconds remaining. 2 Shidos apiece. But still within that time, there's been some strong action going on. High collar grip, but the lapel was there first. A little bit of a telltale sign to say, here I'm coming, as she stepped across with that leg. Too much Osotagari, both with the possibility of exchanging with that tip, but there it is, Osota into the Makakomi. Dmitrieva takes the place in the quarterfinal against Malzen of Germany. Well, I think for Malzen, having Dmitrieva in that quarterfinal is a good match for her. It will suit her style of judo.
Okay, I mean, it's not the mismatch that we were talking about on paper in Malzen's previous contest. This is much closer.
It's the style that I think will suit Malzen quite considerably, especially with those long legs and what she comes round the back. She'll not be wanting to come up high over the collar, but she will come under and she'll be able to get into that space quite nicely. I think it will be something that will suit her style of judo.
I think so, yeah. Anyway, it will all unfold before your very eyes a little bit later on. We'll come back when the quarter-final stages take place. On the mat at the moment, we've got Anna Maria Wagner of Germany. She faces Bernadette Graf of Austria. It's Wagner in the white judogi, Graf in blue. There's no scorers yet, and we've just had the first 30 seconds.
Well, Bernadette Graf was one that I highlighted earlier on that I felt that could keep a very close eye on this young lady. Strong athlete. And the Austrians seem to be doing so well recently in the World Tour. They've had some great performance. It's a nice team that's coming together and bonding so well. And their performances are bouncing off each other. It's success breeding success here. And Bernadette Graf has had some successes over the years. Last year in Hoyhut was gold medalist, and also in the Masters in 2016 was silver medalist. So she's capable of being on that podium at a very top level of tournament. So She will come in with a certain degree of confidence, but she is up against the number 2 seed, Wagner of Germany. So 2.5 minutes remaining in the contest. Still no score, but definitely no penalties as yet. Both staying very engaged in this contest, still trying to settle in the gripping skills and taking full advantage of being first on that grip. Both seem to be comfortable in their exchange. Neither one of them wanting to make the next move as yet, but the hovering around with the Uchimatas, both attempting one. There, Wagner coming round the back when in a bent over position with the head going forwards, most probably not the wisest of moves to be making, especially when Bernadette Graf is in there ready to pounce on the Uchimata. A little bit of life in the feet of Graf there, sending out all the right signals to her opponent that she's up for this contest, she's fit and she's ready. Well, Wagner will have seen her teammate Malzen go into the quarterfinal. Although it being just one match, it's still pressure on. Big harai, beautifully done. And a wazari for Graf. Now this piles the pressure on. She's already a Shido down, one wazari down, and 1.5 minutes remaining in the contest. She knows full well, and I don't know if they'll even upgrade that for an Ippon. Yeah, so Graf takes the win against Wagner. The number 2 seed goes out in the first round. Well, already what an upset in this weight category. Started off with 19 athletes. The number 1 seed went out in the second round, although she had a bye in the first. And Wagner, again, the same situation. A bye the first fight and went out the second against Graf of Austria. Well, now we have Ramirez of Portugal in the white. Very experienced, mature lady in this weight category. And she's up against Kenyon of Israel in the blue. Ramirez, well, sadly has the reputation of accumulating several Shidos, the Shido Queen as we will call her. And sadly is, although she's seeded here and it was a 5th place you got in the European Championships this year, and a bronze medal in Zagreb, has more tendency to miss out on crucial medaling positions from the Shidos. And here we have them started already within the first minute of competition. Ramirez with the sasai. Draws her opponent down into the niwaza. Fails to capitalize in that situation. Obviously feels more comfortable in the standing. Kenyon, as you can see, with the hand heavily strapped there on the right side. Doesn't seem to be causing too many problems. Displaying quite strong gripping technique. Sianagi attempt there from the Israelian as she draws Ramirez's head in on the edge of the contest area. Oh, swung through there looking for the Ouchigari, but sadly timed it poorly there. Lost her balance, fell onto her face. Once more, Ramirez really didn't take full advantage of that situation. Could have followed in quite nicely into the Niwaza. Well, we are into the second round, but both these athletes had a bye in the first round, so this their first outing here in the competition. Kenyon, very strong right-handed grip, controlling the left side nicely of Ramirez, who picks up her second Shido now. Well, the battle continues here. Ramirez stumbles opponent down into the Niwaza. This time tries to work something out down in the ground, but very little on offer at this moment. With just under a minute remaining in the contest, Ramirez has 2 Shidos to Kenyon of 1. Ramirez having her head pulled down there, trying to work her way through with the feet. Comes in for the harai into the Makakomi. Loses the control as she turns in for the harai Makakomi. Putting more weight on the supporting leg. Falling off to the side there. Sasai once more attempts, stumbling her opponent to the ground. Well, part of me thinks if Ramirez can come in for the Sasai, get a reaction and then step it across with those long limbs for the Osotogari, that combination is definitely an opportunity that's missed here for her.
There's something that I've brought up before with regard to Yahima. I know it's going to sound, for those of you that watch on a regular basis, as though I'm picking on her, but if you play football and you collect a number of, yellow cards over a period of time, they say, okay, something's not going right here, you have to take a ban.
Yes.
If you add up the number of Shidos that this fighter has
something
collected,
that I highlighted at the beginning, that we call her the Shido Queen.
Yeah.
Is that she makes her life so difficult for herself. She has so much vast experience here on this world circuit, but still manages to make it look so difficult, doesn't she?
It must be so frustrating as the coach to go out there and have an athlete with that kind of physique and the potential to do so much that then offers up not a great deal. So sad. And it looks as though after 34 seconds a golden score, she's about to pick up a third.
Well, in fairness to both of them, I don't think really either one of them was too impressive there. But less impressive for the referee was Ramirez, who picks up the third and final Shido, a Hansokumaki into the second round, although she had a bye the first. So, and not a great start for Ramirez, and she will be, again, very disappointed in herself on that one. But for the Israelian, a great win for Kenyon, who goes through, and she'll be up against Bernadette Graf of Austria.
Graf had A terrific win against
What an upset already,
Anna
huh?
Maria Wagner. Well, I'm not so sure, because somebody that I was talking to this morning said they had to look out for Bernadette Graf.
I know, but what I'm looking at is that
That was you.
Turchinen, I know, it was me, Turchinen and Wagner, both out, #1 seeds.
Well, you know
and
what that
#2
means?
seed.
Bernadette Graf and Luisa Malzahn are in the money here.
Oh, definitely. It's turned it on itself on its head, hasn't
And they're
it?
in opposite halves of the draw. You want to be looking at those two. I mean, even Loriana Kuka, if she overcomes Sampaio, could be doing something here. The problem for this weight category is a little bit like the plus 78 kilo category. You don't have consistency. There's nobody there that is an absolute out and out winner. Any week, any day of the week, although it happens to be Sunday, it could be someone else who does it.
Yeah, I just can't, looking at that bottom half and pool C and D, I can't see
Where's it
anyone
coming
that's going to
from? Yeah.
stop Graf now.
Yeah,
I
not
really
now.
can't see anyone
Not
there.
now.
The
Although
only one...
It could be Kenyan. It's early days, isn't it?
It is early days.
Yeah.
She's stuck in my head.
We've got the men's heavyweight that will be taking place on this match shortly. I should keep you interested, because I think we've got the #1 seed. He's coming up first. Kakarovskaya picks up a penalty. Pakut has already picked up 2. She attacks right-sided and then right arm around the waist, but she can't come up with the hip technique that she was thinking about. Maybe Ogoshi. Yeah, the Russians haven't decided who it is that they want in this weight category either. Alina Kakarovskaya or Anastasia Dmitrieva. There are a couple of others as well bouncing around. Just really goes to highlight, you know, what I was saying about the inconsistency in the weight category. Hard to pick out a real winner. I don't think anybody has retained the World Championships at under 78 kilos for quite some time now. We've had two different Japanese, Umeki Mami and Hamada Shori. We've had Audricha Mio. Go all the way back to Kayla Harrison. Sol Kyung. Just thinking who else I've missed up. Mayra Aguiar of Brazil. She may have won it a couple of times, but not back to back. Inside the last minute now. Pakut really chasing hard here. This is a good effort. Couldn't come up with the finish. It was a good push there from Beata Pakut. Really put the pressure on. Chance for the Osai Komi here. Yeah. Nicely rolled. Good awareness from the Polish fighter there. Just has to hold on for a couple seconds more. And that's done it. Time had expired anyway. So Beata Pakut taking it right at the death there. Elena Kakorovskaya losing out any chance to keep herself in the competition. Need to get to the quarterfinal. Beata Pakut of Poland winning out there in round 2 of the under 78 kilo category. Coming up next, Karen Leon of Venezuela faces Melora Rosetta of Italy. It's Leon in the white judogi, Rosetta in blue. And we'll have the men's plus 100 kilo category after this. Chance to apply the shimiwaza here. But it was across the chin, so the referee called mate. Just a single Shido against Rosetta. A little under 3 minutes left to go. Nice effort there from Leon. Well, we'll be able to give you the quarterfinal lineup immediately after this contest, as soon as we get the result of this. Now this time going over on the left, showing her versatility. Yeah, Wazari on the board for Leon. There's another fighter that's displaying those kind of throwing skills. Just taking a little bit of time to develop. She's only young. Nippon, yeah. There's a look at that. Yeah, why not? You know, and that was in slow motion. Gets herself in a nice position here. Plants the right leg. Over she goes. And completes the technique. Yeah, why not? Good one. Right, on mat number 3 now. Nuri Krakovetsky of Kyrgyzstan. He's up against Khushnidin Hushanov of Uzbekistan. Krakovitskil in the white judogi, Hushanov in blue. And I'll give you the lineup for the quarterfinals in the under 78 kilo category. Patricia Sampaio of Portugal faces Loriana Kuka of Kosovo. Luisa Malsan of Germany comes up against Anastasia Dmitrieva of Russia. It'll be Bernadette Graf of Austria to face Omri Kenyan of Israel. And then Beata Pakut of Poland is up against Karen Leon of Venezuela. That's the lineup in the under 78 kilo category. Kushanov picks up a penalty there. 3 minutes left on the clock. Usanov has picked up a second penalty, struggling here a little bit against Krakovitskil. Not sure whether... Oh! Ooh! He's in some trouble there. That was a bad landing. That's shaken him up. Krakovitskil lost control of the technique. And poor old Kusanov ended up face planted. There was no intention here other than to throw, and all of a sudden, yeah, that really shook him up. Oh, Krakovitskil really had Kusanov airborne there. Lost control of the top half of the body during the execution of the technique, and there was nowhere else for Kusanov to go except flat on his face. Having a bit of a struggle here. Well, I think you're absolutely right about Sibila Akbulut of Turkey. The young Turkish fighter has just thrown Sandra Jabonsklita of Lithuania for Ippon down on mat number 1. That's Jabonsklita out. That really is a turn up for the book.
No, well, when you look at the Turkish athletes, they're very, very strong. They've prepared their athletes well, and they've got a good little team coming up now. And there's been a lot of effort put into developing the youngsters. So no big surprise for me on that one.
Ludi Krakovitskil goes into the next round. I'm sure that's the quarterfinal anyway. He'll face the winner of the upcoming contest. And the upcoming contest features Yerasil Kashibayev of Kazakhstan. He's up against Hamidreza Malikzadeh of Iran. Kashibayev in the white judogi, Malikzadeh in blue. We're missing the Iranian in the plus 100 kilo category, Javad Majoub. I wonder if he's at home watching. So big hello to Javad Majoub. Maybe he's at home with his new family. He's got a youngster.
Oh, spending some quality time before the
Mr. Majoub with his little baby at home. Yeah, why not? Probably waving madly at his laptop or TV now. We can't see you, pal. But we look forward to seeing him perhaps in The Hague. I'm not sure if he's inscribed for The Hague or Osaka. He'll definitely be around for the Masters.
Oh, definitely. There's no doubt about that.
Chance for the shimiwaza here. Oh. Not quite on. Yep, across the jaw. Kajibayev making it quite clear to Malekzadeh that that was across the jaw. Maybe a bit of payback coming now.
Might not be now, but he'll never forget that one. Uchimata, oh, nice.
There's the pay.
Powered over there. That was a lovely finish.
There's the payback. Didn't take long, did it?
No, not at all.
Next time, don't put it across my chin.
Well, Kashibayev there taking the win for Kazakhstan, but in style as well. That
really
was nice. There's been some lovely judo so far.
That's classic heavyweight Uchimata, isn't it?
Pulling on that, and he took it slightly off to the side. Wasn't so much traditional as going forward, but he took it onto that pivoting leg. Nicely done.
Nice hands.
It was textbook style. It was what to do. Elbow tucked under the armpit, pulling in towards him with the sleeve, and head directed quite nicely with a little hopping action.
I'm having a look over my shoulder to see if my Fighting Films colleagues are watching, because they'll have nailed that one.
Oh, yeah.
Terrific little shot, wasn't it?
Yeah. And slow motion as well.
Yeah,
it was,
lovely.
you picked that one up.
Right, who've we got on the mat now? Vladislav Tsiapitsky of Belarus faces Alisher Yusupov of Uzbekistan. Tsiapitsky in the white judogi, Yusupov in blue. And I can assure you that I've checked with the Belarusians about the U, and they do pronounce it like a V. So Vladislav, whatever it looks like.
As you can see, Sapitsky there coming round at the back, controlling the actions of his opponent.
Well, we don't have Majoub either in The Hague or in Osaka, unfortunately.
Maybe he'll send you a quick note to let you know what's happening. Be interesting.
Well,
he's missed anyway, and he will be missed.
Yeah, because when he is in the mix, I think that makes for a really interesting
yeah, definitely.
plus 100 kilo category.
It shakes it all up a bit, doesn't it, really? It leaves it much more an open
Well, he's number 14 in the world. He's number 14 on the world ranking list, so just outside that top 10. And, you know, when you're in and around that top 10, anybody has got a shot. Someone outside the top 10, Teddy Riner, down at number 30.
Oh, Siotoshi. Well, it was slow, but it was powerful, wasn't it, that one? Yeah, like, again, you see the Teddy Riner is away, and we haven't seen him for a wee while, and you do miss these characters, don't you? Because not only are they challenges for the other athletes to try and get in there, and they've got it all to win, haven't they? Nothing to lose, which brings a match quite exciting with someone who's gutsy enough to come up against these top athletes.
The other heavyweights aren't missing him.
No, I'm sure they're not.
You know that old saying, while the cat's away, the mice will play.
Well, they're having a good old jolly time at this moment anyway. But he'll be back, as Arnold Schwarzenegger would say.
We haven't seen the big fella on the mat since November of 2017. So it's exactly a year ago.
Yeah. Out of sight, but definitely not out of mind, is it? It's always there. Well, the Belarusian has a very strong upper hand here. He looks quite controlling, but there's some beautiful skills coming from the Uzbek. We've already seen a lovely entry there with the Siotoshi, and although it's very slow, it was so powerful, and there is slight weight difference here. And the disadvantage obviously looks like it's coming from the Uzbekistan with the weight. Seeing if we've got any information.
We have Dr. Allen sent through the sheets there.
I always love having a nose on that.
20-odd seconds left to go. 2 penalties picked up by the Belarusian. Uzbek, just the 1.
Well, there's about 23 kilos of a difference between both athletes. Obviously, the Belarusian being the heavier of the two.
Nemanja Majdov of Serbia has just been thrown for Ippon by Ivan Vorobev of Russia. Oh. Down on mat number 1. Another disappointment for he's
had some
Serbian fighter. Just needs a break, you know, does Majdov.
He didn't have such a good world championships either as well, and he was defeated. Was it not the Frenchman Desir that beat him? I was watching Desir fight, and it just reminded me of the same match against Majdov in the World Championships, and he looked so alike. So for me, it was something to go back on to double check.
These are the sorts of times when the athletes have got to dig really deep and find a way back. You know, he's been at the top. Suropitsky coming up with the Ippon there. In golden score, 20-odd seconds of golden score, and then Suropitsky comes up with the Ippon. Sialpitsky, sorry. Let's have a look at the Ippon quickly. Just talk us through that.
Soto. Well, he
found a way, didn't he?
Yeah, and he got that resistance, but rather persevere and find himself on his own back with the possibility of what we have seen so many times of being turned around on themselves and being held down. He actually just took it off onto the supporting knee, onto that shoulder to get the score, and he really judged that and felt that well.
Vladislav Sialpitsky there.
Deep in there, but look how he's managed to maneuver himself onto the support and his opponent's supporting knee to get the score. A real excellent judgment there, good feel of judo. Controls the head by drawing it around and twisting the shoulder in for the score.
He's gone, mate.
Oh, he's gone. Oh,
knocked
right.
out. We were going to go down to Aurelien Dieser, but He's on his way back to Paris, I'm afraid. Oh, so is
that was disappointing, but he did look very tired in that first round. But his judo is just so exciting.
Zaslan Bostanov tying up Temur Rakhimov of Tajikistan
Made
quickly.
that look easy, didn't he?
The big fella. The two tall, exceptionally tall Russians in the competition today, Zaslan Bostanov and Renat Saidov. Both around today. Right, coming on to mat 3 now. Bekmurod Oltiboyev of Uzbekistan faces Andriy Kolesnik of Ukraine. It's Oltiboyev in the white judogi, Kolesnik in blue.
Well, Kolesnik, for me, he always gives a good performance, doesn't he? I rate him as a heavyweight. I really do. I think he's got nice judo. Oltiboyev there, straight in. So the attack goes right through, continues that rotation, plants his opponent onto his back, and now starts to work and punish him down in the ground. Needs to tie up the upper part of the body, but he is opting to get out of there. Oltiboyev there, coming in with the left hand on the lapel, trying to keep his opponent's right arm from coming deep over onto the back and controlling his head. Now, totally dismisses that and breaking it down. Uchigari there from Oltiboyev, but walks onto that Sianagi. Well, Oltiboyev nicely executing that, putting Kolesnik looking a little bit bewildered by that. He's on a bit of a slow motion at the moment. Still hasn't really injected any life into him as yet. Although he's been on the receiving end of some really strong attacks. Doesn't seem to be too phased, but comes in on his own there with the Osotogari. Very close to attacking and gets that weight behind him. Becomes very dangerous indeed. Once more, the Sianagi's there, and he stumbles over the top of him, but manages to get out of trouble. Oh, yes. Well, timing perfect on that. Awazari, and he's still working his way in the Niwaza.
Should have finished him off there.
Trying to finish him off there. Needs to tie up the upper body, have a bit more control there. Otherwise, the big man will turn onto his face. But he's looking for the arm lock as well. He really got to make his mind up on where he's going with this. Looks like he's going for the shimiwaza. As he digs in, he comes down under the head. The other arm sliding across.
Hussein Kalmuzaev of Russia is involved in a golden score contest on mat 2 with Mikhail Ertel of Turkey in the meanwhile. Altiboyev leading here by Wazari with half a minute left to go.
Oh, yes. And again, Maroti Sianage. Epon.
Was that left-sided?
Yes.
What if he scored right-sided first and then left this time? He may have thrown him left last time as well, but if he did, no, if he didn't, and he threw him left-sided this time and right first time, this boy's got some stuff about him, hasn't he? Mm. To throw that way twice, well.
Well, let's see if it was at left. No,
it's right.
No, right.
Yeah.
He had a left-handed grip.
Yeah.
Turned it right. Left hand on the lapel and then switched it into the right position.
Yeah, it's that last part when I turn my head. Yeah, so he throws him right here.
And then he twists back in. That's what caught us on that one.
It looked awkward, yeah. Okay. Altiboyev entertaining the crowd today. I wonder if they're going to come up with another medal. The Uzbeks, they won.
Well, he's looking sharp
yesterday.
out there. There's no doubt about it. He's looking very good. Nice.
Let's go down to mat number 1. I'll tell you why, because the German Eduard Trippel of Germany is down there. He's up against Aziz Kalka Manuli of Kazakhstan. It's Trippel in the white judogi, Kalka Manuli in blue. And it was Loretta Cosette-Doyle was saying that Trippel is someone worth having a look at. Well, we've got an opportunity here. So let's have a look and see how he gets on.
Well, Trippel for me is always, he's been quite impressive this year, what we've seen of him. A young athlete that's got so much maturity in his judo. Definitely a contender here in the under 90 kilos. Great promise as he builds up towards hopefully a qualifying Olympic place. Works his way into the Niwazo. This is always a good all-rounder as that transition works there. And as you can see it, Forte, can't fault the man. Shimiwaza was there, walked straight onto it, and Eduard Trippel then takes a place in the 3rd round. That's the quarter-final stage.
Kalka Manuli is indicating that that was across the chin.
Well,
or the jaw even. Yeah.
It's always a difficult one. If there was a submission, then, you know, you're just giving it away, aren't you? If the referee can see it or not, but nice score. Well, from our side, well, it was clear in the view of the referee anyway. So
yeah,
if it was across the chin, the referee would have been able to see that quite clearly.
For me, that one is, I don't have to see what's happening here because the referee's standing on top of it. He's prone, so
it's all open. He knows from the turn where
he is.
Yeah, look at even Trippel's looking up as if to say, "You're quite happy with that."
Sorry. If there was some degree of discomfort as far as the chin was concerned, that was, you know, incidental to the way that the shimiwaza was being applied, because from there it looks absolutely fine. And Lubomir Pete is one of the best referees on the circuit. He's standing on top of it. Is he not going to see that? No chance. Absolutely, for me, Ippon. On the mat now, Ramadan Darwish of Egypt up against Daniel Dichev of Bulgaria. It's Darwish in the white judogi, Dichev in blue. Karl Muzaev and Ursula are still on mat 2, by the way.
Oh my, what
Almost 3 minutes of, well, 2.5 minutes of golden score so far.
oh, cracky.
I was about to say there's no score in
yeah.
that contest, but that's a bit redundant, isn't it?
Oh, Ramadan Darwish, what a big man he is. Physical, he's built like a tank. I saw him earlier on in the near the warm-up areas he was walking through. Strong looking athlete.
And Ursula has thrown Karl Muzaev for Ippon on mat 2.
Well, again, the Turkish are doing really well. Some great performances from the Turkish team.
Hussein Karl Muzaev out of the competition as well in round 2. No way back when they go out in the second round. Got to get to the quarter-final.
We've had so far some really impressive matches.
Two penalties picked up by Dichev. Darwish has just got the one. Be nice if one or other of these could come up with a score rather than the penalties. Oh well, that's the way it goes sometimes. And it is a third penalty picked up by Dichev, puts him out. Oh well. Darwish into the quarter-final. Oh, sorry. This is the Karl Muzaev Ursula technique. Oh, nice bit of ashiwaza there. Good use of the hands as well. After 3 minutes of golden
Nice.
score, look at this, Loretta. What a switch.
Sasai Sakuragamiyashi beautifully done. The upper body control, just winding himself into that technique.
Thank you for that, Freddie. Top work. Didn't even have to ask him, did I? Look. Always on the ball. Right, down on mat number 1. Mukhmahad Kuramov of Uzbekistan faces Said Shalol Tsaidov of Tajikistan. Kuramov in the white judogi, Tsaidov in blue. This for a place in the quarter-final. The winner of this will face Ramadan Darwish. Muhammad Karim Kuramov it is, in the blue judogi. Sorry, in white. In white.
Well, As we anticipate, this is going to be definitely a tough match indeed. One closer towards the quarterfinal. Side of reaching through to try and get that arm just under the armpit there, but drawing down on his opponent's right sleeve, trying to take the pressure off the head. Now needs to just draw his own head up on top, getting a little bit more of a leverage on his opponent's right side as he controls nicely with the right hand on his opponent's left shoulder. Side of there with a little bit of a bounce still left in the feet. Once more, right hand controlling the left sleeve, comes tucking under for the Yoko Sutomiwaza. Poorly judged there with that attack, but Saidov manages to rescue himself and not to get caught up in the Niwaza. Once more, that right hand controlling the left side of the Uzbek. Haramov looking quite passive there as he gets stepped across with the Osoto into the Makakomi. Side of a nice finish there. 40 seconds remaining and a Wazari up. Timing perfect, and as Sheldon would say, the magic 40 seconds.
Was it? Oh dear.
Right on it.
It's incredible, isn't it? Anyway,
it is.
Won't dwell on that.
Well, a desperate attacks now from the Uzbek, who starts picking it up a little bit. More aggressive approach now since that score.
He's only got one Shido, Saidov. Can afford to burn another, and he won't give up two in this period. Karamov has stalled here.
He's played a wrong game and now he's finding himself running out of time. Karamov.
Not a single attack in 20 seconds.
So
yeah, 20 seconds. He could have put two attacks in and at least said, well, I tried.
Yeah,
but he just stalled.
In fairness to Saidov, though, he's quite strong in the gripping styles, and that movement just made it just very, very difficult
His
for him.
arms were stretched out. There's nowhere he was going to let him near him, but he got to find a way to put in at least something. Anyway, just in between contests, because we're going to go down to mat number 3 now to pick up the first of the quarterfinals. So we just missed the first, actually. It was Patricia Sampaio. She lost out to Loriana Kuka of Kosovo. Told you they were on for a third gold medal. Anyway, coming on to mat number 3 now. Luisa Malzahn of Germany faces Anastasia Dmitriev of Russia. It's Malzahn in the white judogi, Dmitrieva in blue. And we're going to be joined by IJF Media Director, Nicholas Mesner. Almost put him in the wrong job there. Here's Nicholas.
Thank you, Sheldon. And
good
morning.
Oh, is it?
Good
it's afternoon now.
Every time I come, it's always afternoon.
You're losing your time, dear.
How are you today?
Good. And you know what? I'm a real happy place.
Yeah.
What judo already? It's made me very excited here.
Yesterday was a little bit so-so, but today,
do you know
it's
what?
just amazing.
I was drained. I was totally drained yesterday, I must admit. It was very difficult. It was challenging, not only for us, but it was challenging for the athletes.
Yeah, definitely,
all
yes.
the way.
Yeah.
And but today we started off kicking off for those ippons. They were coming fast and
I'm
furious.
sitting down at the official table, and sometimes I'm watching mat number 1, and then I hear that there is a ippon on mat number 2, so I move to mat number 2, then the ippon is on mat number 1. It's just like crazy.
Oh, it's been really good. And this way, under 78s has been a nice weight category. Some beautiful judo coming from it. And there's Bernadette Graf that, for me, she beat the number 2 seed coming into this tournament, Wagner of Germany, which was a real challenging match. But she made it look so easy. And now straight again with Kenyon. There's no resistance there whatsoever. Graf is really on a roll at the moment. Securing, well, she just got out of there, and I don't know whether it was just before the bell. The signal was going, but did that bell come in just in front? I'm not sure, but nope, she got out just a split second, and it was a split second to get out of that. So Kenyon gets another chance at this competition. It's the quarterfinal stage, a place in the semi-final. Ouchi combination she was looking for was the Uchimata. She had the high collar grip, controlling of the sleeve, nicely engaging onto the shoulder. She's looking so strong out there, Graf. Good gripping style. Very strong, upright posture. As she lures that arm across the chest, comes round the back, hangs on that leg for the Ochikochigari, a bit of a movement of tactics there, leaving her options slightly open. But for me, what she's looking, the body language is just oozing confidence, isn't it? She's bouncing. Yeah. She's actually quite comfortable, and a real feel-good situation, that feel you're getting from her. Well, there was a chance there for Kenyon. Yeah. She came in with the hips. She got a little bit of a raise.
Without the arm was a little bit difficult.
Yeah, she only had the arm round the back. But Kenyon, in her first match, she was strong looking. She's quite powerful, especially with the hip throws. But for Graf, that left hand that comes round the back works and switch of direction. She got that a nice feel off the Uchimata, switched it through for the Kochi. A good combination.
Was that?
Yeah, so 2 good, strong attacks. One, and again, in the Niwaza, good transition.
So Loretta, I came also to you this morning to talk about the special project that we have, and
yes,
the Judo for Peace program. And you can see on the side of the screen with my friend Ruben Hoeks from Netherlands, who is also he's in charge of the Judo for Children Commission, but we're working together. And that specific project, Judo for Peace, we have now an online store, judoforpeace.net, and you will see the address at the end of the slideshow. With Leandra, also from Portugal, used to be a top-level athlete, and now she's working also with the IGF and with the Judo for Children Commission. So we have clothes now branded with Judo for Peace, and you can find on the online store the possibility to buy pins, T-shirts, sweaters, and so on. And the benefits, all the benefits of the selling will go to help develop Judo for Peace program, especially in the refugee camps. So you've got some examples now on the screen.
They're very stylish, aren't they? For anybody, the colors and everything's vibrant, and definitely a must-have item of clothing.
Yeah, don't hesitate to go. So that was a project. I mean, I was in Italy. I mean, I mentioned it yesterday to Madaloni's project in Naples a few weeks ago, and we filmed one of the Judo for the World episodes. And we also gave some T-shirts to the kids in Scampia, the suburb where the project is running. But once again, basically, that's really a concrete and effective way to help develop the Judo for Peace program. If you go on the online store, and once again you will get the address at the end of the slideshow, you can buy some of the clothes, some of the products, pins and whatsoever, and all the benefits are going to the Judo for Peace program, especially in the refugee camps. In some events, we have a booth where you can buy directly the products on spot. It's not the case here in Uzbekistan, but we'll have next year several events where we'll have a booth present on spot. And
yes.
really don't hesitate if you don't. I mean, if you want to help, if you don't know how to help, because regularly we receive messages from people around the world, how can I help and so on. Now there is a concrete way of doing it by going on the online store and buying some products. And once again, everything's going to be dedicated to helping people. So you have the address now, judoforpeace.net. And also an important and interesting information, all the clothes. So it's a project that has been led by people in Finland, by Esa Niemi, who used to be the president of Finnish Judo Federation. He's a member of the
yes.
Judo for Peace Commission. And all the clothes respect environment, respect also rules. There is no children, I mean, making those products
yes.
and so on. So it's really, I mean, like, we respect all the rules, international rules, yeah. No child abuse and so on.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's really important. And all the products come from bioagriculture and so on. So it's really, really important for us. And once again, one T-shirt can help a kid somewhere in a refugee camp.
Yeah, well, that definitely sounds a wonderful opportunity for anybody out there. And if you are just thinking, oh, I've got so many T-shirts and it's another thing that we're looking at, I would really urge you to go online and just look at the wonderful work that's been done in this project with Judo for Peace and the amount of people that we are supporting and helping throughout the world. And whether you've got too many T-shirts, you've never got too many T-shirts, you can always give them as Christmas presents as well.
Exactly.
It's a great opportunity to actually lend your support and encourage something like this to continue working so hard as people do throughout the world in creating something that's very, very special. And there's no doubt about it.
Exactly.
And putting a lot of smiles on a lot of faces throughout the world.
That's basically, I mean, our reward when we go to a project, to a refugee camp, to a difficult suburb and so on. It's a smile on a child's face.
Yes, it's just so rewarding, isn't it?
That's just amazing because we give them hope,
yeah.
and we, at least the time they're on the mat, we make them think something different than sometimes the harsh life they have.
Yes.
So it's really, really crucial.
And we've got a lot of people out there that are judokas themselves in their own right. And all they've got to do is reflect and back, why do we do judo? What is it all about? Why do we still, to this day, follow online, go to these events? Because of what judo really means to us in our life, what it has done for us as people, as human beings,
exactly.
and the friends that we've made throughout the world. And even for those that are just here, that are not judokas that are listening in, why are you listening? Because you've got family that are involved, yeah. and you've got to go back to when your child does judo for the first day and comes back with that big, great grin on their face of achievement
yeah.
and fun, and says, oh, I loved it. And for me, this is what it's all about. And if we can contribute in all these sort of ways of giving those experiences and those rewarding times to children that are unfortunate, most probably, in certain parts of the country and the world, not to be able to experience until we've had this Judo for Peace.
Yeah. And sometimes we tend to forget. I mean, I'm coming from France, and now in France there are massive celebrations about the end of the First World War, and we tend to forget that, I mean, in the 20th century, our countries were in those situations where people had to flee, people had to fly away from their home, to leave everything behind, and there are still, I mean, like today there are more than 60 million, almost 70 million refugees in the world. And we are all concerned, and we can all be concerned one day in our lives, and and it's important that, I mean, there are projects. Of course, we're not going to solve all the problems in the world with the Judo for Peace activities, Judo for Children, gender equity, Judo for All, and so on. But at least, I mean, the few people that we can help, it's definitely going to make a difference for them. And at the end, I mean, if everybody, I mean, puts a little drop in the ocean, at least we can change a little bit the world.
One penny in the sea, and that rippling effect can make so much in a more positive way.
Exactly.
And this is what we're looking for, is that our sport, judo, can make that little bit of an impact in the world of judo. Sadly, we live in a society and in a world that there's still war zones, there's still poverty, there's still children that are in desperate need and support and love. And if we can just give a little back and helping one child, one family to have some warmth in their lives and some smiles on their faces, then it's rewarding, isn't it?
I mean, we have the example, for instance, in Kilis, in south of Turkey, on the Syrian refugee border. So, I mean, it's 60 kilometers from Aleppo, which has been totally ripped off the map by the civil war in Syria. And we started with 50 kids 3-4 years ago, and now we've got more than 500 kids involved in judo activities there. We started in Zambia as well, and I'm going to go back to Zambia in December to inaugurate the first dojo within the refugee camp that has been built by the federation and local people who helped to build the dojo. And we started with 13 kids 2 years ago, and now we've got more than 150 people.
I was blessed by going there, and I say blessed because I just find, for me, for judo, it has given me such a quality of life and an experience of a lifetime to meet such wonderful people. And I was blessed to go over to Zambia and work with some of the coaches there and had such a wonderful time. And we meet, you learn about the Father Ted. Is it Father Ted?
Father Jude.
Father Duke. And for me...
They call him almost Father Judo there.
Father Judo. And what he's done there for a country has been amazing, isn't it?
It's just amazing.
There's so much hard work that's gone unnoticed at times. And what you are doing really is you're highlighting all the good work that's out there. And I really would urge everyone to just go online and just read up. It's so inspiring and it's so warming and comfortable to read. And it really does not only bring a tear to your eye as well, but it makes you really smile to believe that this is your sport, you're involved, and we are doing so many things that's so positive when there's so much hardship going on in our lives.
Yes, and there definitely are, and it's also interesting when you see the image now. You've got the top level athletes competing for medal today, and at the end we are also, I mean, thanks to that, we are also able to talk about other subjects, and once again to bring something to people who really need it and deserve it.
Yes.
I mean, now for instance with Judo for Peace activities, we are active in conflict areas. I was mentioning the refugee camp in Turkey. It's a conflict area. I mean, I was there a couple of years ago, and I left on the Friday morning, and on Saturday my hotel was bombed. So that's the kind of things that happen in those kind of zones. Then we are also present in post-conflict areas, like for instance Great Lake region of Africa. There are still conflicts there, but for instance Burundi, Rwanda, it's more or less post-conflict, and we are active there. And we are also active in areas with social disorders, let's call it that way. And so it can be anywhere in the world, basically. That's why, for instance, Campia in Naples, that's definitely one of those zones when there is, I mean, social issues, unemployment, drug and alcohol, and so on. And through sports, and specifically through judo, we can really make a difference.
Well, it just gives it a more positive way of life, isn't it? It educates people, but it also gives them a way out, isn't it? Somewhere that gives them some hope and some comfort in their lives. And this is really what's so important.
And we have also amazing examples. If you look, I mean, that was not a Judo for Peace program as such, but I mean, we are totally embracing the activity. When we see what Flavio Canto does in Brazil with his project, and one of his pupils, one of the girls that went through the program that comes from a favela, had really, I mean, the worst living conditions when she was a kid, and she became an Olympic champion. In Rio with Rafaela Silva. So that's also the kind of things we can achieve. I mean, when we develop Judo for Children program, Judo for Peace activities and so on, we are not aiming to build champions. That's not the first aim. The first aim is to give a smile and to offer a better life to people. But that ultimately, at the end, if some of those, I mean, boys and girls can also become champions and then become role models for the other ones, then we have the whole process is just on a good way.
It's a way for us to reach out and give our hand of support and friendship.
Yeah, exactly.
And warmth of encouragement as well. And that's all we need sometimes, is that arm round and that sort of lift up to the next level of feeling good about themselves. And yes, when you talk about Rafaela Silva, well, an amazing athlete, and we all dare to dream. Well, that woman is living the dream, isn't she? From the background that she came from, and the hopes that she's inspired so many people, not just within our own country, but throughout the world.
Exactly.
To say that there's hope for us all, really, isn't there?
So yeah, I wanted to come today and talk a little bit about that. So once again, really don't hesitate to go on judoforpeace.net. That's the online store. All the benefits are going to dedicate it to Judo for Peace activities and other development activities. And of course, we're going to report regularly on the use of the funds and explain to you what's going on. On the website, you can find, of course, the clothes and so on, and the pins and cufflinks and all kind of stuff. But you also find information about the activities and that, the kind of program that we're dealing with.
And the thing is, we are coming up to the festive holidays and things like this. So this is an ideal opportunity. If you're sitting there thinking, well, what am I going to get someone? Go online. There's plenty to choose from, and it's all going for a very good cause. And you're going to do so much for a sport, not only that you love, but to create that smile and love for somebody else, to help them, support them in the way to move forward. And I do hope that you'll take full advantage of going online, reading up on all the good work that has been done over the years. And it has been a long journey for you. There's been some wonderful experiences that you've shared with us. And if you haven't had that chance to experience, to share those experiences, go online and read up, because you will be totally inspired, like I have been, to hear such wonderful work that's going on. And it's so warming to know that it is my sport, and we are doing so much to help those throughout the world. So do your part, look online, get your t-shirt.
Exactly. And if you forget the address, the website address, don't worry. It's on the IGF website as well.
IGF.
There is a link on top left, direct link, and there is a banner also on the home page. So, I mean, you cannot miss it.
There's no excuses out there. We're expecting the next tournament that everybody be lined up with these T-shirts and sweat tops and that. And if you're not, we're going to pull you out with a big hook and make you get one. So, only joking. But, yeah, it's a great cause. Get the T-shirt, get the sweat tops, get the merchandise out there. Every little bit helps to support a cause that's doing so well, to be helping put smiles on so many people throughout the world's faces.
Yep.
And well done, and thank you very much for sharing that with us.
And thank you for welcoming me here again.
Oh, it's lovely speaking to you. And I look forward to hearing more of the stories and of your adventures and what's coming up very soon.
Thank you very much, and enjoy the beautiful judo today.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. And yes, Judo for Peace definitely will. This is what it's all about, seeing athletes achieve their goals, their dreams, their desires to get to the Olympic Games. And this is some of those hopes and dreams that, in some cases, like Rafaela Silva was able to experience back in 2016 in Rio. Could be a dream for one of these athletes here over this weekend. Sipitsky here up against Bostanov of Russia. Two very strong athletes battling head to head. Both picked up a Judo apiece at this moment. Neither one of them even closer to getting to that semi-final place. Second Judo now goes to the Russian. Uchimata, oh, what a throw. Brilliant finish. Bostanov goes into the semi-final of their plus 100 kilos. Well, that man can throw, and throw very big indeed. we'll look forward to seeing him progress, and he's looking on target to be standing firmly on that podium. But we'll have to wait and see how he progresses later on. He started off with his opponent coming in with a Sodi, overspun it, but hooked in for the Uchimata. Bostanov, oh, what a nice finish.
We've got another quarter-final in the plus 100 kilo category taking place now. This time we've got the Uzbek home favorite here, Bekmurod Oltiboyev. He's up against Shakamad Miradmarov of Tajikistan. Oltiboyev on the board with Wazari. 2:44 left on the clock. Oltiboyev a little bit slow to his feet, just trying to gather himself, I suppose. Maybe their thoughts of finishing this one off early. Still half the contest left to come. Oh, nice finish there. Just what he was looking for, Oltiboyev.
He's looking very sharp today, isn't he? To the delight of the crowd here, that really right behind this man all the way.
I think this is the way that the heavyweight division has gone recently. They've had a look at which big men can challenge Teddy. They've all been found wanting, and now what's happened is you've got a number of under 100 kilo category fighters who've decided, well, I'll have a go then. And, and they're all moving up.
But they're really athletic. They're moving up nicely. They're not moving out in their posture. They're actually moving up and building up, and they're real contenders, still having that sort of athleticism that gives them a real chance of being a contender.
From the 100-kilo fighters here, sorry, from the plus 100-kilo fighters here, I can just pick out the ones who I know have moved up. Oltiboyev at some stage would have been down there, but it's when you look at the inscription for The Hague and Osaka that you really see them lining up there.
Oh yeah, they're all out there.
Or Sasson, Lucas Kapalik, Henk Grohl.
Strong athletes.
You know, they've all moved up from under 100. We spoke about Javad Majoub earlier on. He moved up as well.
Was even the Frenchman, Cyril?
Yeah, he had a little bit of a bash, but he's gone back down.
But he's gone back down, yeah.
Cyril Marais.
Marais, yeah. He did well, didn't he?
Absolutely, yeah.
I think he won a couple of medals, didn't he, in that weight category? But he's moved back down and he had a little dabble.
This is another quarter-final, the last of the quarter-finals in the plus 100 kilo category. Ikhtior Kalmuratov of Uzbekistan faces Renat Saidov of Russia. Kalmuratov in the white judogi, Saidov in blue. Got the first of the semi-finals coming up shortly. On mat 3, it'll be Loriana Kuka of Kosovo to face Luisa Malzahn of Germany. What a thing that will be.
Well, Kalmuratov there with two Shidos coming into the just past the halfway mark now. It's not looking so good for the Uzbek. Saidov staying very much in control of this contest. Still no score at this moment on the boards, and plenty of opportunity to come back, but at the moment, Saidov, very strong, postured man. Right hand controls quite nicely on that left-sided lapel as he hooks in with the Ochuchimata combination. And over he goes for Awazari and into the Osakomi for Awazari Asetiepon. I cannot see the Uzbek getting out of that at this particular moment. So Saidov for Russia takes the place in the semi-final. He'll be up against Oltiboyev from Uzbek a little bit later on.
Coming on to mat number 3 now, Patricio Sampaio of Portugal faces Anastasia Dmitrieva of Russia. It'll be Sampaio in the white judogi, Dmitrieva in blue. We have, however, got quarterfinals going on down on mat number 1 and 2. So let's go down to mat number 1. We'll take a look at the quarterfinal between Mamadali Mediev of Azerbaijan. He's up against Eduard Trippel of Germany. It's Mediev in the white judogi, Trippel in blue. We join the contest with 2 minutes and 20-odd seconds left to go. Trippel has scored Wazari. Mediev has picked up 2 penalties. And it's Mediev in the white judogi, Trippel in blue.
Well, Trippel, as we would expect and did anticipate, would have a good performance. Young athlete oozes confidence, there's no doubt about it, but here you have Mediev scoring the opponent at that sort of crucial stage. Knocks him off an opportunity of going into the final, but he'll go into the repechage, so there's still an opportunity for this young German to come through. But he got caught up, the power of the upper body control, more or less like the big bear hug around the shoulders, was just overpowering. He hooks in for the Ouchigari, but that right arm that swung under the arm, clamped together, drew the chest, and then there was just no escape. Oh, well, definitely no doubt about what score that was.
On the mat now, quarterfinal in the under 100 kilo category, Ramadan Darwish of Egypt is up against Said Shalal Saidov of Tajikistan. Darwish in the white judogi, Saidov in blue.
You see Darwish with that left hand controlling the right shoulder of his opponent. Very strong, powerful looking man. Shido a piece, but as you can see, Fasadov is now picked up 2. A right to left stance here. Darwish with the left hand inside, controlling his opponent's right gripping skills. You should see both hands heavily strapped. Obviously the forte of the gripping skills that plays a major factor in this man's judo from Egypt. The left once more, hooks in high collar, Ouchigari moves his opponent down into the ground, follows it through into the transition. Definitely showing to be the more dominant in this quarter-final stage. Kouchi, almost the Kouchi gak, he hooked right in there. Steps across, just more tewaza than actual, that foot stepping across and doing much work. He towers over his opponent's upright, strong gripping style. Saidov really struggling and looking overpowered by Darwish. And to avoid the grip, ducked under and sadly picked up the 3rd and final Shido. So Darwish, Ramadan Darwish goes through to the semi-final of the under 100 kilograms. Well, now we have Karl Richard Frey of Germany and Alexander Idir of France. Well, for me, Frey is one of those athletes that every time we see him, he's there always around the medals. He's a real contender. He's been a consistent athlete, but sadly, there he walked straight onto that Ippon Sianagi. Didn't see that one coming. And really no questions asked about that one. He knew he made a mistake. That sort of split second of lack of concentration against his opponent. But the Ippon Sianagi classic entry, that was a big ouch moment, that one. Beautifully done. And in style, the Frenchman goes through to the semi-final of the under 100s.
We often say that term, he climbed into that one, didn't he?
Well, yeah, he climbed in and he didn't climb himself out of it. That was one thing.
Right, this is a repechage contest in the plus 78 kilo category. We're going to look around to see where the quarterfinals are. They're on mat number 2. Let's go to have a look at the under 100 kilo category. Elmar Gazimov of Azerbaijan is up against Danilo Pantic of Montenegro. It's Gazimov in the white judogi, Pantic in blue. We're just in time to see Gazimov finishing off that one. Sampaio has lost her contest on mat number 3, by the way. There's another repechage contest down there. That's Omri Kenyan. She'll be up against Karen Leon. But we're going to stay here to see the next quarterfinal in the under 100 kilo category. It'll be Joachim Dvaby of Sweden to face Aaron Farah of Austria. It'll be Dvaby in the white judogi, Farah in blue. There's a look at the way that the Montenegrin gave up that score. All right, we're underway with this quarterfinal. The winner of this will face Elmar Gazimov in the first of the semi-finals in the under 100 kilo category. Well, we've got the semi-finals starting on mat number 3. We better go down there and have a look at that. That's the more advanced of the contest. Let's go to mat number 3. Loriana Kuka of Kosovo faces Luisa Malzahn of Germany. It's Kuka in the white judogi, Malzahn in blue. We've only missed the first 30 seconds or so. Is Kuka going to have enough as a youngster to trouble the much more experienced Luisa Malzahn? Interesting little matchup here, Loretta.
I know, they've done so well, the Kosovans. They really have. They're a strong nation of athletes, aren't they? And I think she has that physical maturity, but Malzahn has the experience, and the hip throw was there, the wazari, ogoshi, beautifully done. Malzahn trying to drive her onto her back to capitalize into the knee waza. Now, for Malzahn, she's got there's a lot of experience under her belt, and she'll be able to, I believe she'll be able to keep this, maintain this lead throughout. If not, under pressure, Kuka might start opening herself up and get caught again. But it'll be a big surprise if Malzahn lets this one slip away from her. when she is in the driving seat at this moment with a real advantage here. Well, Manzel still there's no other score, no Shidos though, which is still playing a very good, strong tactical game here, maintaining that lead. Again, she comes round the waist. Kuka just seems to be walking onto that as she throws the arm high over the back, walks onto it. The Osakomi. Oh, she's got to get that leg. Oh no. The Osakomi, well,
that's done now.
How many times have we seen that this weekend? It was one of the things that I'd said in my sort of highlights of yesterday's performance, that the problem we've seen is the Sutemi Waza attempts, the sacrifices going down in the transition and Niwaza, leaving themselves so vulnerable to be caught in the Osakomi. And one of the most experienced athletes in this weight category walks into that. But in full credit to Kuka, what an advantage she took. It was handed on a plate to her and she said, thank you very much for that early birthday present and Christmas present wrapped up into one. Hey, goodness, well, you would have never thought that one. Kuka goes in to the final. Malzin down into the bronze medal match. And she'll be absolutely kicking herself there, the German. And
well, sorry, we're going to find out who Loriana Cook is going to face in that final, because we've got the second of the semi-finals on the mat now. It's Bernadette Graf of Austria. She's up against Beata Pakut of Poland. It's Graf in the white judogi, Pakut in blue. Here's Loretta again.
Yes, well, we said Graf was on fire, was one to watch, and definitely one to watch in this semi-final. She has been looking so good out there. Such a strong athlete, and what technique she has. For me today, I can't see past Bernadette Graf, to be honest. She's been such an impressive athlete here. Left hand round the back, controls the right shoulder. She tries to draw across, taking her opponent's left sleeve. Draws it into her chest. Works her towards the edge of the contest area. Now Paku under a bit of pressure, feels the urge to attack, but is in no position powerful enough to have control as she enters into an attack from there. And Graf is just setting her up nicely for it. Now, though neither one of them was attacking, Graf definitely had control of that moment. Both picking up a Shido apiece, but I think Paku is the one that will have the pressure piled onto her, because she really is the disadvantaged as far as the gripping styles and strength within this contest at this particular moment. Graf's got that sleeve controlled quite nicely. She comes over the top. She draws the head down. The Kosota attack, trying to get a reaction of her opponent, which is not the head coming up, but the head turning and twisting through for a Seoinage. Both ways would leave her very, very vulnerable, as you could see. All the weight went onto that supporting legs, collapsed her on the Seoinage, but there was an opportunity for a counter to come round the back, or even to venture into the Osakomi. So in both ways, Graf setting that up for two reactions, either the Seoinage or the head coming up with the Uchimata combination. Once more, Graf attacking that right foot. Well, just 48 seconds remaining, and I say just, but it's a lifetime out there for Graf just to keep working away. She's still not managed to get a score, although she has dominated the pace of this contest. Paku still stays in with a real chance of getting through into the final. Definitely can't write her off. Well, we're going into golden score, and right at the beginning, I didn't think we would get to this stage. So there's been a real good battle between both athletes. I wouldn't say they were evenly matched. I just feel that Graf has dominated, just hasn't had that opportunity to be able to follow it through from being the more aggressive, controlling grip to finishing it in for an attack and score. Graf throwing that left hand once more onto the high collar, drawing down on the head, hooks in for the Uchimata. You can see her working on that leg, works the right leg. Paku gets herself out of trouble as she was backed up there into the corner of the edge of the contest area. So she's fully aware of the situation, but the second Shido for that false attack really didn't have too many options there. She was caught up, the head was down, and she was backed up to the edge of the contest area, which really left her no way out other than to walk onto an attack or just pick up the Shido, and the lesser option was the Shido. But once more, backs herself up against on the edge and backs herself out of the final of this under 78s and moves herself down into the repechage bronze medal match. So Bernadette Graf goes into that final, and she'll be up against Kuka of Kosovo later on. Possibly a chance of another gold medal?
Well, Kuka's given herself every chance because she's made it to the final, so yeah. We may not have thought about that this morning, but there it is. It's a distinct possibility now.
Yes.
Well, we've got repechage contests right across the board. We've got another repechage contest that will follow this one. So rather than jump around too much. I'm just thinking where will be best for us. Got Todd Christian and Michael Ursula to come. Ramadan Darwish and Alexander Idir. And it will be a while before we see Kazibayev and Bostanov. There'll be two semi-finals there. One on there, and then that one's going to finish. So we'll stick here for a little while, I think. Yeah, Luri Krakovitskil of Kyrgyzstan is up against Vladislav Tsiapitsky of Belarus. It's Krakovitskil in the white judogi, Tsiapitsky in blue. Both fighters have picked up a penalty apiece here. Nothing to write home about yet in this one. It was Krakovitskil who threw beautifully with Uchimata earlier on today. Tsiapitsky picking up a second penalty now with a minute and a half left to go. Krakovitskil comfortable now with the lead. 40-odd seconds left to go. Thought about the Uchimata there. Tsiapitsky bailed. Half a minute. Got to come up with something here. Little Ashy was from Krakovitskil. Just unsettled Tsiapitsky for a moment. Time running out quickly for the Belarusian. Got to do something now. Right, we're going to go down to mat number 1 now. There is a semi-final there taking place between Ramadan Darwish of Egypt. He's up against Alexander Idir of France. It's Darwish in the white judogi, Idir in blue. Darwish was looking for the Makikomi there. Missed.
Well, he steps across there for the Osoto. Those long legs are very powerful when he gets connected. Walks onto the Sianagi though. And as we saw with the Ippon Sianagi in the previous match, he just launched, the Frenchman launched his opponent with the Ippon Sianagi. It was textbook style. One of the best techniques of the day. Oh, Nasodi, whoa, he launched him. Again, this time, instead of an Ippon Sianagi, a Sodi Sakuragami Goshi. Beautifully done. And a place definitely in the final for the Frenchman. Oh, nice. And Darwish goes into the bronze medal match in the final block, so we'll get an opportunity to see the Egyptian a little bit later on.
It's been incredible today, Alexander Yadir.
He's
really
been really good. What a display of judo. Sodi, beautifully done. Look at that. Again, it's textbook.
We're going to go down to mat number 2 to have a look at the semi-final in the under 90 kilo category. Tot Christian of Hungary faces Mikhail Özela of Turkey. It's Tot in the white judogi, Özela in blue.
Koichigari slightly overstretched himself, but once more shows it again. Slight weakness there for Christian Tot. Has to be careful on those ashiwazas. As we know, he's got his Sianagis. He's very stocky in structure, but also a very powerful Hungarian. Give him an opportunity to come under his opponent, then he'll take full advantage of that. Well, just past the halfway mark, we have Christian Tot there, just managing to stay Shido free at the moment. Ursula with a Shido on the board. No scorers yet. So far it's been very tight. Some nice ashiwazas there from Osler. Slight height advantage over his opponent. Well, most athletes against Tot has that advantage over him, but he manages to work well over the tall opponents. He has those Seoinagis that are very dangerous when he gets the opportunity to connect. A lot of the time, though, they can look quite scrappy and the timing can be out slightly. And this is where Tot has to be careful because he starts picking up the Shidos for those false attacks. He can find himself in trouble. Now it's a Shido apiece now, with coming up to the last minute of this contest. Last half a minute, a Shido each, no score still. Uchimata attempt the Ouchi switch of direction. Closest it's going to be so far. As he follows down into the Niwaza, Tot defending. He looks comfortable enough down there, but as he tries to wrap underneath and escape from what looked to be a very tricky situation for him. Well, we're now into golden score, and these two have battled away here, and neither one of them can sign their name on the sheet as a finalist here in the under-90s. Both have worked extremely hard to the build-up to this semi-final position, and part of me just thinks that Usler is just slightly edging in front of his opponent. A couple of really strong attacks, but picks up the second Shido and a gripping infringement there against Tot. Now Tot might take full advantage tactically there, looking busy, looks in for the Seoinagi, nice switch of direction for the Kouchigari. And this is obviously a slight change of what he was doing before, with expecting the Seoinagi we've seen so many times within this match. Now he's working the Ashiwaza, Koreashi Harai, Sasais, just getting those attacks in and also breaking up the balance of his opponent. So they're looking at got some credibility behind him, which makes his opponent look passive. And with one Shido to gain for a hand Sokumaki, possibly this is what Tot is working for. He's got the high collar grip, draws the head down, but the Ouchigari there for the Turkish athlete as he draws Tot's head down, making him slower in his pace. But the Uchimata's there, and what a finish. Tot takes his pace with style into the final of the under 90 kilos. What a great finish to what was a really tough match for him. Oslo, really a great performance from this athlete, who will put his place in the bronze medal match later on in the final block. He obviously will be disappointed. He was so close, but that was no questions asked on that one. The winning ingredient there was when Tot came over with the high collar grip. He drew his opponent's head down, and the reaction he got was that head coming up, which placed him in a nice positioning for the Uchimata. Drawing off that sleeve, nicely executed and beautifully planted.
Well, there's another semi-final taking place, this time in the plus 100 kilo category, down on mat number 3. It's Bekmurod Oltiboyev of Uzbekistan. He's up against Renat Saidov of Russia. It's Oltiboyev in the white judogi, Saidov in blue. There's no score as yet. Both fighters have picked up a penalty apiece, and we've got a minute and a half left. It's Oltiboyev in the white judogi, Saidov in blue. We've already had the second semi-final well, in the lower half of the draw, that is. And Zoslan Bostanov has won that, so he's in the final.
Well, what
waiting for the winner of this. Sorry.
What a size difference, though, with these two. Altiboyev looks like he's in the wrong weight category. But as we've seen so many occasions, he knows how to move the big men. Draws down on that very strong right arm. Oh, lures him in for the Osota Makakomi and comes round the back, scoring a Wazari. Whoa. Well, what a start for the Uzbekistan. And the crowd erupted here.
Well, you can take a look at the clock.
Oh.
There's 35 seconds left to go.
Timing.
Yeah.
Did it happen in the 40 seconds? Did he enter into the 40 seconds?
Just before that.
Just before that.
But the reason I bring it up is because there's so little time left now.
Yes, it's true.
You know, Altiboyev has got a single Shido against him. He can afford to burn one in this half a minute. And for me, yeah, well,
He's
you know,
got
you did a silly thing.
He pulls his jacket out and...
why would you do that?
I think it's called sour grapes. He's got caught.
He's going to be careful there because
he's so upset.
Jefferson Vieira has warned him twice to tidy his gi up, which he pulled out and got a penalty for.
He's not in a happy place at this moment, is he, the Russian?
Well, there's another place to go if you're not interested. Get him off.
Get him off.
Right now, I'd have said that's enough.
Yeah. Just penalise him again.
It's disrespectful.
And it's time wasting. There's no reason for that. It's not only disrespectful for the referee, but it's disrespectful to his opponent. Yeah. He's going to penalise him again, I think.
Well, the thing is, Altiboyev had not been told to tidy his gi up.
And he's not allowed to.
And he's not allowed to, exactly. So that, good point, Loretta, you know. So Altiboyev was doing the right thing. When the referee tells me to tidy my gi up, I will.
Yes.
Until then.
Well, Saidov comes in with Uchimata. Oh, he's got the high collar grip. He's got 15 seconds. Can he come back? Those long legs are coming all over the place, but I think his dummy's been spat out. He's really just disengaged because he's lost.
Done now.
Psychologically, he lost when he got thrown.
Yeah.
And why he threw it away then, when look at the structure of the man, he's capable of throwing and throwing big, but he just lost everything, didn't he, on that? Altiboyev, what a win for him. And what a win for this crowd here.
Tips him nicely, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He's lucky not to go over for the full lip on there, to be honest.
It was nice, wasn't it? Little hand of help as well. Great win.
Well, we've got one more contest to bring you. That was the back end of the repechage contest between Pantic and Farah. The last contest of the first part of the day features Elmar Gazimov of Azerbaijan. He's up against Joachim Dvabi of Sweden. It's the semi-final in the under 100 kilo category. It'll be Gazimov in the white judogi, Devabi in blue. The winner of this will face Alexander Idir of France in the final. Devabi has picked up a single Shido. He's working on the arm here. Gazimov having to defend strongly. It's coming out. Needs to turn into him, which he does. That collapses the effort from Devabi, and Gazimov escapes. I can assure you he doesn't have an earpiece. It was just the right thing to do. In any case, he wouldn't listen to me. Why would he listen to me?
Well, both supporting two very strong lapel grips there, as you can see on our screen. It seems to be the lifeline for both athletes. But both picking up a Shido, because although it's a strong, controlling grip, that's exactly what it's doing. It's controlling and not attacking with it. Both picking up a Shido each, but Devabi with two Shidos now, which puts him under just a little bit more extra pressure than necessary. Sianagi from Gazimov comes out the back, doesn't opt to look for anything in the knee waza at this particular moment. Steps right across. Oh, lovely. Osota, but a real spin on it. Scoring a Wazari with 1 minute and 12 seconds remaining. And into the Sukhumi, a win and a place in the semi-final goes to Elmar Gazimov of Azerbaijan. And later on we'll be able to follow Devabi on his journey for that bronze medal match, and that would be up against Carl Richard Frey.
Right, welcome back for our wrap-up of day 3. Actually, it's really a preview of what's going to happen in the final block. Now, day 1 was exciting. We had a little bit of a sleepy day yesterday, but today was a bit different, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a sleepy day yesterday. There wasn't as much dynamic judo as we were hoping for, especially with the middleweights, which we always anticipate a little bit of sort of highlights moment. But today has turned it all the way on its head. We've seen some fabulous judo. It's been so dynamic. The judo itself, the skills have been superb, and the ippons have been coming fast and furious.
Right, and some of those, the people who delivered those ippons in the first part of the day, some of those feature in the final block. Let's take a look at some of those names. In the under 90 kilo category, the final will be Top Christian of Hungary. He'll be up against Mamadali Mediev of Azerbaijan. Where do you think that one is going?
I think I'll go with the Hungarian. He's always a slow starter, and sometimes he can put real pressure on himself. When he comes in with the Sianagi, sometimes it's misjudged, and he'll pick up the Shidos along the way. But he always seems to come back. He's a very clever fighter, where you always anticipate the Sianagi's been overkilled. Then he throws in techniques like the Ouchigari and the Ashi and Sasai Sakurakomi Ashis, those type of skills. So he's an all-rounder for me, and I think that he could take that gold medal spot.
Okay, Top Christian in the final of the under 90 kilo category. In the under 100 kilo category, Elmar Gazimov of Azerbaijan will face Alexander Idir of France. What about that one?
Oh, no questions for that one. Idir for me all the way. What a fighter. He's got beautiful judo. His Ippon Sianagi for me was the throw of the day. And then he just got better and better as he's progressed through to that final.
That was in the semi-final?
Yes, yeah.
What about the quarter-final against Carl Richard Frey? You threw him as well, didn't you?
Yeah, it was another one, but I'm trying to remember that. Was it a Marotti Sianagi or an Osotogari?
Marotti.
Was it Marotti? So again, another big throw, Ippon called. So for me, he's a big, big hitter, and he's definitely going to be, I will be shocked if he doesn't get on that #1 spot.
Okay, Alexander Idir in the under 100 kilo category. Well, it looked for a moment as though the plus 100 kilo category was going to be an all-Russian affair, but the Uzbek Bekmurod Altiboyev defeated Rinat Saidov of Russia. It's Saidov's teammate, Zoslan Bostanov, who will be up against him. So the final is Zoslan Bostanov of Russia to face Bekmurod Altiboyev of Uzbekistan. Where's that one going?
Well, if you look on my sheets, I highlighted Bostanov. I thought he was one to watch. Definitely thought he was an athlete to keep an eye on. No big surprises he's in that final. But based on performance here today, Altiboyev, home ground, that crowd behind him all the way.
We saw that yesterday, didn't we?
It's going to be tough. Definitely going to be a tough order to try and knock.
50-50 then.
I'm going to go for Altiboyev.
Okay, Altiboyev. Okay, great. The under 78 kilo category, this was one of the categories that really threw up some incredible results. And we were saying this morning that it could be, anybody's day. 1 week this person, 1 week that person. And so it's proved. We lost all the top seeds. They all went out. And the final features Loriana Kuka of Kosovo. She's up against Bernadette Graf of Austria.
Well, I highlighted right at the beginning Bernadette Graf. I thought she's got the pedigree to be, she's a good champion. She's a consistent athlete that performs day in, day out. And for me, today she has a strong performance. I can't see her losing this gold medal, I really can't. So I think she's going to take the #1 spot. She will have the challenge, there's no doubt about it. Kuka, for me, is a strong athlete. She comes from a country that has already excelled really well in this competition.
2 golds and a silver.
2 golds and a silver, and I'm a great believer that success will breed success. And I think this is what we're seeing right now with this youngster that's come through and is really upset. And they've gone down like dominoes, haven't they? The #1 seeds right throughout the day. So, but it's one, it could be a 50-50, but I'm going to stay with my gut feeling right from the beginning, Bernadette Graf to take the gold spot.
Okay, let's take a look at the final of the plus 78 kilo category then. Caroline Weiss of Germany, she'll be up against Irina Kinzerska of Azerbaijan.
Do you know, I'm going to sit on the fence for this one, I really am. With the
I'm not.
I think Kinzerska, is obviously the strongest, but Weiss, she's taken out the #1 seed, and so she's on form. I didn't really manage to see too many of the plus 78s and how their overall day performance was, but for someone that's been consistent all the time, I'm going for Kuzerska.
Okay, I'm going to go with Caroline Weiss, only because I chatted with her this morning and told her you can do it. Let's see if that comes to pass.
Well, definitely, you've got Sheldon on your corner, so that really does help.
We will be back at 5 o'clock. It's 5 to 2 here, so it's a nice long break. We look forward to your company, but from Loretta Cusack-Doyle and myself,
See you later.
bye-bye.